What's up, guys? How are you? Let's give people another minute just to sort of hop on and do all of this. I think there was like 10 people that RSVP'd, so we'll see. But quick intro. I know all of you guys know me as we've spoken and stuff, but why don't we just go down the list here? Adam,
Hey,
Emil, Taylor, and then Val. Why don't you guys just give a quick shout out and introduce yourself? I don't know if Adam's working. Adam, are you working? There you go.
I am, yeah, but
What's
I'm
up?
here.
What's up? Thanks. I
Not too
need
much, you?
not too much. I need more dudes on the call, right?
Yeah.
The ladies asked me some really, really hard questions, so gonna kick a lot of stuff to the dudes and see what you guys think.
I
But
got good. I got good ones for today. Just so you know.
good. I'll check him in a sec. But Adam, just tell people where you're from and what you do.
I am from North Bay, Ontario, Canada. I am an aircraft mechanic.
Nice. Milcar, why don't you go?
Sub team. I already have like a couple of group coaching sessions. Nice to meet you all. I'm Emil, as Cam mentions me. I'm not from the States. I'm from Central America, Honduras, and just here to help and help everyone, help myself, be a good human being. Hey, Christina.
Nice. Sick. Taylor, then Val, and then Christina.
Sorry, I'm out of breath. The dog just took off on me. My name's Taylor. I'm down in Florida in the Northwest Panhandle. I think I've been hanging out with Cam a little too long, but I enjoy it. Keep coming back.
You're good. Val, why don't you say hello?
Hi everyone, my name is Valeria and I am based out of Atlanta. I am soon to be an art teacher, but I already am an artist. I work with ceramics and nice to see you all.
Sick. And then Leslie, why don't you introduce yourself real quick?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Hi, guys. I'm Leslie. I'm a women's health and fitness coach. Nice to see everyone again.
Nice. Cool. Awesome. Well, let's give the short spiel. You got most of you guys know, but group calls are always free. I'll put them on the calendar. I just added some more, I think, for July. If you guys want to RSVP. I like keeping it to 10. I don't think that I'll change that anytime soon, just because I think it's a good mix. You don't have to stay the whole time. You can submit questions anonymously. I'll read the questions, and then if I think the question really pertains to someone, I will kick it to you guys in terms of, asking you to answer. If you don't feel comfortable answer, just decline or say pass, whatever. But this is not for me to just give my spiel and my 2 cents the whole time. That's what our one-on-ones are for. As we work through stuff individually, I want you guys to really learn from each other and kind of share your perspective. I do record these and post them on YouTube with your permission. So I don't want that to be the reason that you hold back or don't talk about something. If you feel like something was shared that you're not comfortable with it going out on the internet, please let me know and I will just not post it. It's that easy. You can send me a message on WhatsApp, send me a message here, or just tell me any way that you can, really. Other than that, let's hop right into the questions. You can always submit personal questions or business related questions. Don't hold back. Don't just RCP and not submit questions. At least submit one because we've had some really, really good questions lately. Okay. So, question number one, and again, I won't dumb you out. These are all anonymous from my end. What past relationships have taught you the most about you and what you truly value and want in your personal life? Who wants to take a stab at that?
I mean, I guess I'll do it.
What you got?
Um, my last relationship in particular was a big learning lesson. So I learned that I'm an avoidant, I attract avoidance, and I don't want to do that anymore. So I really been working on myself, trying to be a little bit more secure. But it also just taught me that I want to be with someone that I'm willing to, I guess, meet halfway. Not change myself, them not change themselves, but that you can kind of meet in the middle because you don't want to risk losing them. So that's what I'm looking for.
It's good. Anybody else? I'll read it again. What past relationships have taught you the most about what you truly value and want in your personal life?
I think I'd have to say that I want peace more than anything.
Why?
Because most of my past relationships have all been like super rocky and like, you know, I just want to be able to like live my life and like not have all this like constant like emotional, you know, highs and lows all the time, and you know, dealing with all of that kind of stuff when you can just have peace. Somebody that gives you peace.
Okay. What specifically in that relationship, Adam, taught you that? What did that person do or not do that's making you really, really seek peace?
Being cheated on, you know, just constant arguments, arguing all the time over stupid stuff. That kind of stuff has really just made me value peace now. Now that I'm on my own and I have peace, it's been nice.
That's awesome. Anybody else want to take a stab at this one?
I do.
What you got?
I definitely will not go on someone again that just ended a relationship very soon because that person hasn't healed, hasn't done the work. And I'm not a fixer. I mean, they need to go through everything in order to be whole and to be with someone. Or if they jump right off with you, I mean, I think that's, how do you call it? I don't know how do you call it, but I don't think that it's right. I mean, it burned me very bad on past, so I'm not going to do that again.
Good. Yeah, there's something called monkey branching, which
Yeah, that's the thing, that monkey branching. I mean,
yeah, monkey branching is a real thing, unfortunately, and that's both men and women can do it, but it's essentially lining up the next person so that your fall or your, you know, depression from leaving that relationship or anxiety about not having someone is already taken care of, because now you're just migrating your emotions from one relationship to another. It's not a healthy pattern. People that do that tend to not have successful relationships over time, right? But I think there should be a period of like required healing before you enter in that sort of things. Some people are over relationships before they end, and that's fine, right? So no shame if you have monkey branch before, but it's definitely a thing that is not talked about quite enough. So good point.
yeah, and something else, and it always fires back, even if you're doing it or if someone else is doing. I can tell you that for a fact. I have done it. It sucks. Karma always hits you, and as I said, it really burns you eventually. Not in the very initial phase. Right at that point, I think you're distracted with this new person, but at some point in your life, it will burn you really bad.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so there's a follow-up to this question. So same thing, you know, what have you learned the most in your professional work life? Things that you value based upon your previous experiences. What do you value most in the professional world? And what has it taught you?
I'll go.
Ooh, okay, I'll go after.
So, honestly, with COVID and working from home and being able to like take time to do what you want when you want, it's taught me that those are things that I enjoy. And honestly, I don't think I could ever do corporate again. It's not, I can get up early and do all the things, but I enjoy being able to do what I want when I want. So it's nice being like your own boss for sure.
Awesome. I love that answer. What else you guys got?
I agree with schedule flexibility. That's huge. I love that. And then also, for me, it's really important to have a supportive boss. I've had some really like toxic managers and it makes work hell. They're not supportive. I don't do well. Like it's basically to me the writing on the wall that I need to go.
Taylor, I'm gonna call on you
Um,
for this one.
Learned a few things, maybe here and there. Remembering that your work's not gonna be there when you're sick in the hospital. That's not gonna be there when your parents are dying and you have no one to support you. You have to have that town time, and I keep saying non-negotiables on every call, because if I don't have my boundaries and non-negotiables, everything goes sideways. And it's taken me years of realizing what a people pleaser I was, even at work. Even though I was running teams of like 400 people, I was still looking to please each one of them. But it wasn't until I left a big corporation and I knew I had a huge impact that I left. And I think 2 out of the like 1,000 of people I knew still to keep in contact. So I used to be a big proponent of like, hey, I don't take any sick time. Take your sick time, take your vacation time, take every damn PTO hour you get. They don't have to pay you out unless you're in California. But they're not, and they look forward. Like we used to hold stats to see how many people didn't use those hours. So take it. It's there for a reason. And it's okay to have a mental health day. It's okay to say I'm overwhelmed. Oh, and my list. Like if I don't have a list, hey, look, it's a fancy new notebook, Cam. But if I'm not making my list every night now, I don't go into the next day feeling prepared. I used to think it was like some hippie thing to do, sit down and write everything out, but it actually works and keeps me in line. So, yeah, just that's it.
Good. I think I'm gonna chime in here too. So the biggest thing from my work perspective now is like I only want to work with people who align their words and their actions. And if they break their words and their actions once, doesn't matter if it's a partner or a friend or a family member or a coworker, I will put that person out of the circle and I will not have trust in that person again. And this is not like a trauma response or anything. I have truly seen my life benefit from just understanding that some people will break their words and some people don't want to align their words and their actions, and that's okay. No shame if you've done that. I'm not perfect at this and I do my absolute best, but I am much more thoughtful now about when I give my word to being able to do stuff to commit to it. And I always follow through. If I don't and I fall short of that, I own it as fast as I can, immediate, offer one apology, one explanation, and then ask for forgiveness to move on. Okay. And I think that that's fine. I'm not perfect. I'm not trying to preach, but that one thing, especially in the professional environment, my professional environment, that's what we're predicated and that's how our value and our reputation is built. And I've seen that make and break dudes. And I've seen guys get peered or kicked out or, kicked off teams, whatever for it, and fail courses because of that. They're called integrity violations and shit. So I think integrity is really, really a big one. So
Hey, Kim, I think on both of those like subjects, personal, professional, now as you were talking, not being afraid to walk away from something.
yeah.
I think it's like drilled into everybody's head through social media and stuff that like, you got to try and make it work and make it last. I know when I left my ex-husband, like I could see that there was not going to be any way we're going to ever be on the same page. And I remember thinking of my aunt who has been in this marriage for like 40 years, completely miserable. I was like, that's not going to be me. For one, I'm going to be off the market by then and I'm going to have no prospects. And I'd rather try and wing it when I'm 22 with a baby. And life's turned out way better. But even with work, like I'm in sales, so chasing down the lead until now I'm like, okay, I've given him all the information. I give him, my dad's got a role after walk away, and that's like in personal life, but I do that in sales and I'll ask twice and they got my number, they know where I'm at. I do it every 6 week, like, how's it going? How's the, family thing, but I'm just not scared to walk away from a deal because the ones I have pursued really hard and made concessions for, hardest people to work for. They want everything under the sun. You give them an inch, they take a mile kind of thing. And I've had to become really comfortable with myself knowing that I'm confident in what I do. I have a great product and we got a great program, so they like it or they don't. And I'm going to keep working with people who want to work with us. And if not, there's a door. And it's okay to cut them off and walk away.
Words and actions, right?
Hmm.
Look at people's words, look at their actions. Are they aligned? Yes or no? And if their words and actions aren't aligned, what are the actions saying? Right? That's how I think most people, I think that's how we should healthily look at one another and evaluate one another and appropriately call that out. Okay. So, moving on to the next question. Let me see. Ooh. How to assertively ask for what you want. Who's got some stuff here? How to assertively ask for what you want?
In what regard?
Yeah, what are we wanting?
Like, take me to dinner now, or
your wants and your needs, right? Either in a professional manner or in a personal relationship or just from a friend or anything. How do you ask for someone what it is that you want?
For me, it would be different. It would be different professional versus personal. But go ahead.
In personal in relationships, I think clear communication. I stating what you don't like. If someone does something and you tell them, hey, I don't like this, this triggered me, and think it's not appropriate, and please don't do it again, and they commit themselves not to do it again, but then again, they fall into the same pattern. They are not aligning their words with their actions. So again, it's time to let go.
I like that. What else? How do you ask for what you want in an assertive manner?
I feel like you, um, how do you say that? Oh my God. There's a saying in English. It's like you stick your heel in the ground or something like that. You dig your heel, I can't remember how you say it.
You dig your heels in or you put your foot down.
Yes. Like what you're asking for, it's not, I think the words are very important. You're not saying things like, oh, well, maybe, or, you're very precise with the delivery and you don't get swayed no matter what the answer is from the other side. Like you stick to what you're trying to ask for.
I think it's taking the emotion out of whatever you're asking for, and there can't be any, could you please? I wish you would, or in the future, could you? It's when you leave it up to somebody to have room for interpretation, it's going to not be assertive. It's going to be, I'll get to it when I get, or can you do this when you're free? I used to always ask my reps that, or even my assistant managers, and they just never do stuff. I'm like, what's wrong? I just asked you to do that. They're like, well, you said if I could, and I can, but I don't want to. It's like, wait, no, and then I went too extreme, went into ordering them around, but it's more of, hey, I need you to get this done by this time and giving it, and otherwise X, Y, and Z is going to happen. It depends on the situation. I mean, I'm not going to do that to somebody I'm dating. I need you to get over here, pick me up, take me to dinner by 7 p.m. Otherwise, we're going to break up. Like, that's not, I wouldn't use it in that context, but like in work, I do that all the time. Like, hey, this is my objective. This is what we need to do. And this is the timeline we're on. Can we get it to, can you, get on board with that? If there's any hesitation, it's okay, what are your roadblocks? What do you need from me? And then in my mind, I'm going, okay, this is not the right person to be doing this, or I need to figure out something else like this. Like, I'm assertively just saying, hey, this is what we got to do. Can we go forward with it? Or what are your thoughts? Tell me how you see this playing out. And then that gives me enough information to know if I should be moving forward in that direction with that person. But personally, I'm stuck at that part. So I'm talking to Cam.
Like that. Adam, let's hear from you. How do you assertively ask for what you want?
Well, I think I would just probably say what everybody else has been saying, but like when I need something done from someone, I try to be clear, direct, concise, right to the point. Like I need this. Like I don't say, like what they were saying, but that's what I do anyways. Again, probably in my personal relationships and stuff, I'm probably not very good at this. But at work, I'm incredibly assertive at work because I have to get a lot of stuff done, and I have a lot of people that I work with that I delegate stuff to, and when I need stuff done, I'm clear and right to the point.
Emil Carr, what do you think?
I think the same as Adam. And basically, like, communication is key, right? And I'm a great communicator and telling my stuff. And something that I do when I communicate once, I don't like communicating things twice because I feel that's disrespect, on my own, telling someone the same stuff again and again. So I just like, okay, be your way.
Yeah. I think that is more of like a masculine energy. We all have masculine and feminine energies, but I think men tend to be very direct, especially in that professional environment. I think men are very good at that in a professional environment. I think men are really shitty at that in intimate relationships. And I think that I'm not trying to put the ladies in a box. I think largely population would dictate, or history would dictate, that women can be more timid at work, not so much in the modern day, but I think that they excel greatly at asking for what they want in intimate relationships, personal relationships, so much greater than the disparity of men in the workplace and women in the workplace. Women far exceed men in being able to talk, explain their needs, discuss what it is that they want when it comes to intimate relationships. Okay. Men got to
So-
learn how to do that, myself included.
So Kim, this is where I'll do the Uno Reverso on you. I'm actually the complete opposite. So in healthcare, we have closed loop communication. And I actually just had to do it because my patient wasn't ready to go. So we have very direct, like, if we're in a code, it's like, do what I say when I say it and don't ask questions. Like, we're getting stuff done for a reason. Whereas in like my personal life, I have a really hard time putting down that sword and being soft. And so I'm still learning how to like be soft and be like, here's my feelings on a platter. Cause like, how the hell do I do that? Like, how do I go from being level 1 and on a military base and being like, rah, 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 to be like, hi, here's my soft and warm and fuzzy side. I don't know what I'm doing. So yeah, anyways, so I'm not good at asking for what I want unless I'm doing the direct thing. And guys don't inherently like that. Guys like soft June cleaver, all that stuff. So anyways, there's my 2 cents. I gotta go scan a kiddo. I'll be right back.
Okay, have fun. Amy lives a very exciting life. It's
I love Amy. She's awesome. It's always an adventure with Amy.
Yeah, the stories that she has. She hit like a grizzly bear the other day or something. Ask her about it. I don't know. It's crazy. Anyways, would anybody else like to add to that? And quick caveat, I'm not racist, I'm not sexist, I'm not trying to put people in a box. Okay, you guys know this, but I do think largely I'll speak upon majorities, but if you have differentiating opinions, just chime in. I'm not going to take offense to it. You can call me out. We don't have to agree on everything. Not everyone's going to agree on everything in these groups, and that's fine, right? But we're getting more than Mosaic by sharing certain thoughts. Okay. Anyone else want to chime in on that one particular? That was a great question. So kudos to you, whoever asked that. Let's look at the next one. Okay. What is something that surprised you about your path and where you ended up? Something that you didn't plan for, but wouldn't trade. What do you guys think?
I'm in Florida for one. I never thought I'd be in the South at all, or Florida. I thought I was a California girl for life. But owning a business or multiple now and being in the position I am in, oh, there's more stuff that came up today that these offers just keep coming in. I'm like, I don't know what the heck. I don't know what manifestation I'm doing every morning, but I gotta stop it. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't think I'd be in this position. I thought I was going to climb the corporate ladder. Actually, before Colby was born, I thought I was going to be a corporate lawyer and have a penthouse in New York with a bunch of sharp stuff so my sisters and brothers could not bring their bratty kids over. I'm the only one out of 7 that has a kid. None of them do. And I'm the soft one out of all of them when it was not like that. So I think just being open to what's coming instead of trying to regiment it and control it all. As soon as I gave up to control and just put out there what I want and just am open to what comes up. There's a lot of doors that have been opened that I'm like, half the time I'm like, really? You want me to speak off the cuff? Are you sure about that? Okay. Like I just got asked to speak on 2 panels, which is pretty cool, but even 2 years ago, I don't think I would have had the opportunity or been able to do it.
Good. I like that. What's another thing that's surprising to someone about where they ended up? Looking back and you wouldn't trade it.
I never thought I'd be a business owner.
How come?
I don't know. It's interesting because I look back to what I wanted to do when I was a kid and I went through like, oh, I'm going to be a nurse or I want to be a lawyer or I was always interested in like psychology and that kind of stuff. But I think people like your parents or outside forces kind of tell you this is the way that you're supposed to do things. You should go to college, you should get a job, you should, you know, ride the corporate ladder. And then I lost my job and at first it was scary and not what I wanted. And then at the same time, it was kind of like, okay, this is the universe showing me that it doesn't have to be the way that you thought it was. You should be listening to your own intuition, doing what you really want, because ultimately you're the one that you have to like spend all your time with. So why not be happy?
I like it. I like it. Anyone else on this one? I thought this was a good one. It's a good question.
I would just say, like, it's a lot for me to kind of talk about and get into, but I would just say that for me, whatever I wanted, I feel like I've got and I've been able to do, but it maybe just wasn't how I saw it. But yeah, everything that I've wanted, I've been able to do and experience, and I don't know, life is good.
Yeah, that was a good question. Let's hop to the next one. I think we got a couple questions about narcissism. So this should be fun. So in what ways can narcissism be worked on? What do you guys think narcissism is? Everyone has a different definition of it. What do you
I,
guys think?
I have a good one.
Shoot.
I mean, I think narcissists have evolved
How so?
because back in the day, it used to like just be like thinking of me and it's just me, my needs and everything. But now they know how to like put a mask on it and hey, I care about you, I love you and everything, and still, man, there's a mask of narcissism there, an ego and a mixture of emotions, and you know, I think they have evolved now.
How do you think it can be worked on? Or can it be worked on? Yes or no?
I don't
Yeah.
really think there's anything you can do for a narcissist.
Why?
It's part of their persona.
Yeah,
Like,
same.
unless they like, they probably don't acknowledge, unless they acknowledge and they know that they are a narcissist. I don't really know if there is much you can do.
Yeah,
100%.
has to come from them to change. You cannot change them.
Yeah, they have to recognize that they have a problem because otherwise they're just gonna keep playing those manipulative games and they enjoy it. They think it's okay. They think it's like life revolves around me or whatever.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and I think they all, well, sometimes I see narcissists with like childhood wounds, you know. So I think they're acting most of the time in survival mode. I don't know. Just my thoughts.
I think that is true because honestly, I can say that I've been called a narcissist before, which is crazy, But if I look back and see like how I was behaving, I was in survival mode. So I don't think that you really realize, and I don't think I was as bad as the people that I view as narcissists personally, because it never came from like a negative place. I think sometimes narcissists have like an ego and they like kind of picking fights or making people feel uncomfortable, and that was never me. But at the same time, I was in survival mode. I was kind of like avoidant in some cases and anxious in others. It's hard to explain, but like it's all that childhood wounding or life experiences, and then not knowing how to get out of it, not healing or working on it. So
Who else has something about narcissism?
They need to move to a separate island from everybody else. They can all play with each other. I don't know if it can be worked on, because that means that they would have to self-realize it. And if you truly know a real narcissist, they won't realize it because they're never in the wrong. They're never, how could they ever do anything? Oh my God. It's triggering to hear the word narcissist, because that for the longest time I just thought that the ex-husband was just really overwhelmed with work. No, he's just an asshole. He's a narcissist, like pure narcissist. And he's also a hostage negotiator. So he's very manipulative on all levels. Even my real dad's like that. My mom's like that too. They're all, and it's funny how they're all the same. And I ended up marrying someone just like them. But no, there's not. I mean, I just don't think there is, unless they're really open to changing, which most narcissists don't see themselves doing anything wrong. So I don't know. It's one of those things, as soon as I figure out how much, I think everybody has some sort of narcissistic tendencies inside them. Some of them thrive off of it. So, yeah, I don't know if there's any way to fix them. Zap them in the head with those like electrical things from like the 60s. Lobotomy. That might work.
Okay. So how do I say this? I think I've had this theory, and I'm not trying to put everyone in a box, but I think that ultimately everyone may be 51% a narcissist themselves, because the only relationship that you have for your entire life is one with yourself. All right. You come into this world alone and you leave it alone, unfortunately. And even in all the times of isolation or your alone time, you're always thinking about yourself, right? You're thinking about how to take care of yourself. Even Mother Teresa, even all the people that give their entire lives. I think inherently everyone is and has to be a 51% narcissist, meaning that you're keeping yourself alive. You're doing things that allow you to keep breathing or to have a house or a roof over your head. And I think that that's okay. I think that's healthy. And then I think as we acquire skills, we're able to dial that back and really give to others. And I think that's the best part about life. I don't really know how to elaborate more on that theory, but I see so much content about narcissism. I interviewed some narcissism coach on my podcast like 5 or 10 episodes ago, and she brought up some good points, but everyone has a slightly different definition of it, but everyone also has a very different experience with someone who does have these full narcissistic tendencies on display. And so I don't even know how I would define it, but I think that's interesting because there's always more questions that come out of that kind of content. And I think that narcissism gets tossed around a little too much, in my opinion, but I think there's also a lot of people there. I think how narcissists get dealt with is I think that they get hurt either by a worse narcissist, or the universe comes crashing down and their lives go crashing down at some point and they hit a wall going 120 miles an hour.
Or sometimes, as Taylor said, they thrive.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that the universe takes care of those people at some point.
Yeah.
It's later on in their life, or whether it's a couple years down the road. I don't know. Okay. But I don't
It's
think
not our job to know, so let them go.
No. Does anyone else have anything to add or want to add to the commentary or my theory? It's okay if you want to refute it. I'm trying to work it out, but
You cannot refute that. We all agree, man.
yeah, it's true.
yeah. I'm not going to put that out there. on the internet because
Yeah. Don't post this
Yeah,
one.
you'll get shit on.
yeah.
So.
I've been
Okay,
getting-
let's shit out our exes, everyone.
Yeah. I've been getting flamed a lot, which is hilarious because I've just haven't
For
responded.
what?
I don't know. I get messages with people that want to argue with me, and I'm just like, stop. Or these comments, and I just have stopped responding to
Hey,
comments.
I wanted to ask, do you respond to every TikTok comment? Because I was reading some, and do you laugh about them?
I mean, sometimes, right? Like if I see you guys comment on stuff, I'll give you like more kudos. But a lot of times, if I'm just on my computer and I have like 15 minutes, or from the bathroom in the morning and I'm just scrolling, right? And I can just pull the comments up and I'll just like respond to that, and it's just like emojis or yep or cool or right, yep, whatever. And that, I guess that helps the algorithm. So I try to give some time to it, but I don't think you should respond to all the comments, especially if it's not you guys. With you guys, I'll talk about this stuff one-on-one and we can go more in the weeds. But some people like to write paragraphs or 2 or 3 or 4 comments, like wanting to argue or have a conversation, or I'll get these long messages. And I'm like, I can't. So anyways, let's hop to some of the other questions because there was some good stuff. How does one stay calm in an accusing conversation? So someone's accusing you. How do you stay calm?
Turn it back on them.
How?
So this actually happened to me not that long ago. I was out to dinner with 2 girlfriends that I met through work, and essentially the background of the story is that I was terminated from my job at Blue Cross and Blue Shield in Michigan because I requested, and this is bothering someone, please let me know. I don't mean to like step on anyone's toes or anything, but I requested a religious exemption to the vaccine, and it was denied, and I was terminated. And these girls remained friends with me, having different opinions. One of them agreed with me, but ended up taking the vaccine anyway. And then there was a lawsuit. And so essentially I was talking about the lawsuit, and the one girl that initially had agreed with me was frustrated that we were even getting some kind of compensation, or that it was even going in our direction. And I think I said something along the lines of like, but you didn't want to do it either. Like, you have every right to sue as well, or you should be able to ask questions about why you were coerced into something you didn't want to do. And she got so angry with me that she ended up saying something like, well, it's always about you. You know, you're just selfish. And I said, that's your opinion. I said, you can believe whatever you want. You know, I disagree. I agree to disagree. And she ended up leaving, which is crazy. And we haven't talked to this day, which is fucking crazy. But you kind of just have to shut it down. You have to know that, I guess, pushing back on them isn't going to get you anywhere. They're looking for a reaction a lot of times. And I think the best reaction is no reaction, if that helps.
I agree. I think that's awesome.
I
think
had
that's-
this happen over the weekend with like a guest. They were being not like awful at this Airbnb, and just had to like send over the rules and say, hey, please stop, because HOA is about to call the cops, whatever. Well, the next day they were very accusatory and saying that we were profiling them. I don't have any idea what my guests look like. So, and then messages that were coming in, like the text messages were nonstop. She found my personal number somehow online, and I just muted her because I'm like, okay, this is probably gonna end up going to court the way she's going. But it was just like, okay, just no response. And even with the child's father, I'm telling you, I got 6 more months. I don't talk to him again. But anytime he messages, I just don't respond anymore, and we have to use like an app that responds for us. But the no response is probably the easiest way to shut it down, because what I found is usually when someone's made it up in their mind that you're a liar, you're a cheat, whatever it is, you're awful, you're coming after me, you're stalking me, whatever, they've made it up and there's no way for you to get around it. No matter what you say and what you do, you're gonna end up looking like, I've been the person that always wants to explain everything and why it happened, why I'm not that way. Now I'm just like, fine, if that's what you want to think, fine. If you can't tell from my actions, then I don't know what to do with you.
I used to be that way too, and sometimes it's just not worth it.
My Nana used to always, well, this is in dating. She's like, there's 7.8 billion people on the planet. If one doesn't work out, you got plenty more to go to. Just keep going. And yeah, but that's the same way. It's like, if someone's not going to like you or be your friend or believe in you, that's okay. There's billions others that will, and let it go.
Have you guys read the book, The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins? Yeah.
I just started that somewhere over here.
Yeah. If you haven't, right, pull up your Audible and go listen to it. I like it. It's a good book, but I've been saying that to myself more often. And when I think that you get accused, right, someone's pointing the finger at you, my grandmother and mom always told me this. They said, when you point the finger at someone else, there's 3 fingers pointing back at you. And I think that that's how you should probably perceive that situation, because what do people do, right? What do we do? What do I do? Often we'll project how we feel about ourselves onto others. So if someone's accusing you about something, they're not looking to compromise, but really what it is just a projection, right? It's a projection about how they feel about themselves in the moment onto you, and you don't necessarily have to take that at face value, okay? So something to consider there. Anyone else want to add anything to that before we keep chugging along? All right, there was one more question here. Oh, also about listening. How do you actively listen rather than just respond?
No one wants to talk because we're all actively listening.
Ooh, I'll listen, I'll throw myself under the bus on this one. Cam will get a kick out of this. I had another Green Beret tell me, Amy, how are you going to listen if you don't stop talking and listen? And I was like, zing. But I get excited. And I get to talking, and you have a hard time listening when you're so busy. I think when you're ADHD and you're like squirrel, rabbit, llama, and Cam gets frustrated at me because he's so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm like everywhere. It's hard to rein in all the things. So just trying to stay focused on the one thing when someone is talking to you and stay present with them while they are telling their story, and not add your little snippets of like all the stuff. That's how I try to be a good active listener, be a good participant, be a good girl, and like, okay, I'm here, I'm with you. And then I'll add all my stuff later at the end or down the road.
Amy, it's
That's
just
my
because I don't
advice.
have, I don't have as many brain cells as you. That's why I have to be like, wait, what? You sent me a photo of a grizzly bear and then like 4 other texts, and I was like, I need the grizzly bear. It wasn't computing. So
Yeah, sorry.
yeah,
My brain's like rapid fire. Yours is like, anyways, yeah, sorry. My brain's like,
slow. Like just I'm a gun guy, right? The parts have to work before whatever. Okay. So I think another adage from my Italian grandmother, right? She always told me that I have 2 ears and 1 mouth, and that's because I'm supposed to listen twice as much as I talk. I thought that was good. You guys have probably all heard that, but like that's a good one. Also, understanding body language, right? You ever go to hug someone and they pat you on the back, right? What does that pat on the back mean?
We hugged. This is all I got.
Yeah, it means, okay, I'm done, right? Watch next time you see people hug and embrace, watch one of them, if not both of them, pat each other on the back, okay? But as you read books about body language or watch a million YouTube videos, you're going to understand that body language plays so much more in verbal communication. All communication, 70% of it is nonverbal. Very, very little is actually the spoken things. So if you're listening, see how someone else's body is pointed towards you. If their feet are pointed away from you, they want to get out of the conversation. If their arms are crossed or being defensive, they're not receptive to the information that you're putting out. If they're not looking at you, it means that they're, right? What is it? Amy, you probably know, but looking up and to the left is like you're trying to access your creative brain, and then down to the right is where you're lying.
Lying.
Right? Or you're trying to make stuff up. Looking at people's body language will always give stuff away. So I think how do you actively listen is understanding the body language too. And one thing that used to drive me crazy when I was younger, because I pitched a lot in new business, but when someone would be like, yep, yep, and they're trying to like rush the conversation a little bit, I always wondered where that came from. And when somebody's like doing the or blinking a lot, it's like, can you finish, please? Like, can you get to the point? And they want you to finish because most people are listening with the intent to talk, because at some point they said something that made you think something, you actually stop listening, and now you're just whatever. Okay. So look at nonverbal communication. I think that's how you answer, how you passively listen to someone, with someone, for someone. Okay. Excuse me. Sometimes Charlie just runs off into the woods and I have no idea where he is. Oh, well, he'll come back. He's got to eat at some point. Oh, there he is. It's crazy. All right. Next question. Let me see. Where was I? So we're getting to the end here. Nope. Look at you guys not submitting questions. Shame on you. It's a lot of you guys that have done this. We might have some free time here. Okay.
Can I ask
Yep.
a question?
I've got a question too after. I'll go after Leslie.
I got one. I found one. So last person submitted it. Okay. So last question. How can I prevent myself from accidentally cursing in front of children?
Yeah, I want to know the answer to that because I have a problem with it too.
That's impossible.
Don't worry about it, you
yeah.
guys. Cuss in front of them. It builds their character. What are you talking about?
It
I'm
gives
a
them
bad
something
influence.
to
Can't
know
mute me.
not to be like.
Mute me.
Taylor, how do you do that? You got a kid.
What?
Do you in front of your kid?
Who, me?
No, I want to hear from
So-
Taylor, then I want to hear from Amy. Yeah.
I used to tell him that I was allowed to because I was over 18, and to this day he will still ask me, Mom, am I allowed to say the F word? He's 7, he's going to be 18 in November. Mom, can I curse in front of you? And he'll tell, and I'm like, okay, sure. No, I used to tell him that only bad, like, that's how I got my anger out, because I wouldn't kill someone or punch a wall. And he was like, oh, okay. I didn't know that when I was telling a 4-year-old that, they hold that till now. He recently asked me if that's why I still curse, because I'm gonna murder everybody. I'm like, no, I've never had any intentions of murdering anyone. But yeah, no, I just was very upfront with him that you had to be 18 or older to use curse words. He came home from kindergarten one day and was in the back seat, and he goes, Mom, I wanted to let you know we play a game on the playground and we try to yell the bad words as loud as we can and see who can get caught. I was like, oh, and I was like, what's your favorite bad word? He's like, shit. I'm like, okay, well, let's not say that, buddy. But no, I'm just upfront with him, so.
It's good. Amy, what you got?
Guys, I was raised different than y'all. Like, my mom used to drag race when she was pregnant with us, and like I grew up racing dirt bikes, and like my dad's racing buddies taught me how to cuss when I was 4. So like I'm cut from a different cloth. I don't think anybody should take my advice. I don't know. I don't know. How did I get to be an adult? Anyways, yes, my kids know. My kids don't cuss in front of me. They don't cuss in front of anybody. They can cuss on very, very rare and special occasions when something is very, very bad. And they say, Mom, can I call this person a bad name? And it's very, very rare. So it's kind of like they know, it's like not teaching your children about evil things. You're not really, you're kind of doing them a disservice. And that's like holistically with all the things in the world. If you don't teach your children about the bad things in the world, you're setting them up for failure, because then they don't look for the bad. And I know that's a bigger thing than just cuss words, but yeah, anyways, I digress. But within tiny little snippets, they can cuss. But they're also 10 and 12 and their mom's crazy, so whatever. Take that with a grain of salt. There you go.
I like it. I like it. That's good. Anyone else on the cussing in front of children?
I don't have a nephew. I don't have children, but I have a nephew. I don't curse in front of her. She's too little, like 6-year-old. So I don't want to set like a bad example.
Oh, let me clarify. Those are my children. If they're other people's children, I don't cuss in front of other people's children. I set a good example for other people's children. I like to be a responsible adult. Like my kids, it's different.
My brother's the funkle and he takes it to the extreme, like to this day. He'll call Colby. Colby's gonna be 18 in November. I keep having to remind myself that. And he called me the other day going, can we take him to Vegas and go strip clubs? I'm like, I don't think he has any desire to do that. But if you want to be the weird uncle that does that, I mean, granted, Greg's only like 12 years older than him, so he's a little bit closer to age. But when he would come around, I mean, the F word is like every other word for him. So I taught Colby to start charging your uncle $5 every time he says it. Uncle Greg didn't come around or he didn't cuss, one or the other, because he went broke the first time he came over to the house. So, I mean, if it's someone cursing around your kids, make the kids put them in, I mean, tell the kids, hey, put them in check and, you know, they owe you money or they owe you candy every time. It usually makes someone realize like, oh gosh, I'm doing this a lot more than I am, especially people who are not around kids very often. They forget that, you know, we should have some decorum around kids, like maybe just not talk about certain subjects or curse or tell them all the crazy stories.
Anyone else? Good.
I
'cause
think nowadays it's pretty difficult anyways, right? Kids are watching YouTube, you know, as soon as they can start playing around on a tablet or something. So it's pretty difficult to, you know, keep that in check for the kids.
Oh, my kids explain stuff like all these new phrases and stuff. My kids have to explain stuff to me, and I'm like, I don't know what that phrase means. Someone please enlighten me. And then I'm like, what? So yeah, I feel old. Passwords are really not, they're the least of our worries, honestly.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's some good dialogue. I don't have anything to add because I'm from Boston and we swear like sailors up there. So, what questions do you guys have? Who has a good question?
Leslie, didn't you have one?
No, you go ahead.
So, okay, so I realized that today I was talking to another business locally that does a different type of rental management that I don't do. And I always try to connect and see what people need and what they do. So then later on when the opportunity presents, I can send them business their way. Especially when it comes to long-term rentals, because I don't really manage those at all. It's a whole long story, but anyways, I don't do it at all, but I love to have a list of places. I get questions a lot just in rental world, and I like to send them to people I know and trust and what they do. I've noticed lately, especially with men who are the CEO, meaning the business owner, that when I call them to say, hey, like I would just like to be on your vendor list later. So if you've got somebody to come my way, vice versa. The way this man shot me down, and I was like, oh, so how many properties do you have? And he's, how long have you been in business? Like, oh, been in business 10 years and I have 5 long-term rentals, which if you know that world, that's like having 5 cents in your pocket. So I'm like, okay. But he just was talking down to me so much. And I've noticed that a lot lately. And I don't know if it's just the South. I know in San Francisco, I handled it much differently, but it's mostly when it's me talking to men. Now, if I have my business partner, Arthur, come in and speak, completely different like they were receptive. I guess to the men out there, because I don't want to say I'm like, I would trample him. I would swallow him up and spit him back out. And I know this. So I was trying really hard on the phone not to emasculate him and make him feel like an idiot, because that's all I wanted to do the way he was talking to me. But I don't know how to approach other men that are at my level. Well, he wasn't at my level, but you know what I mean? Like business owners, to get them to be open to working together. It was so creative.
Assertive.
What's that?
Just be assertive, be confident. Like if they don't like what you're saying, then maybe you don't have to work with them. Maybe you don't want to work with them.
It doesn't typically work with men like that. You gotta go in there and do like a Rico Suavo, like a Uno Reverso on them. It's, I don't, we'll have to talk about it later because it's, never mind. We'll talk about it later.
So,
Off
yeah, so
camera.
I knew, so I don't want to say, oh, he didn't know me, but in the real estate world down here, I sit on so many damn committees and boards, like everybody just knows me. So when he was finally, I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, I'll just wait until our big announcement about this magazine that I'm taking over, and then he'll realize who the fuck I am. Like, you know, Cause he was just like, yeah, I guess if I don't know, it was just funny because I walked away, I was like, but I talked to CEOs of major corporations across the US and they were more than willing to sit there and talk to me and listen, hear me out. But these, I would say, little fish down here are just like brushing me off. I'm like, okay, fine. I said, no, I don't know, maybe I am being too nice in that sense with men. See, it's so hard to like be assertive and like not soft at work with men, and then you're outside and I'm supposed to be soft and nice and sweet, and y'all need to pick one thing or the other.
See,
I'm not a light switch.
that's what I'm saying, Cam. Oh, see, that's what I run into also, and that's what we run into, and that's what I tell people all the time, because here is the duality when it comes to women and running a business, because we need to be soft and gentle, and we have to walk this fine line, because to be assertive, women get labeled a bitch, like you're being a hateful bitch, and men are being assertive, dominant, and they're doing a good job while we're being a bitch. And it's like we're literally doing the same thing. So
when I took my first leadership position in sales, I think I was 19, and I was getting railroaded by all the employees, and I didn't understand because I was just trying to help them. And then my boss pulled me aside. He's like, I need you to be real comfortable with people hating you at work, with people just disliking you. And I've had employees spit on me. I had them I had a convertible at the time, slice my top, slice my tires. They could not stand me, but then they always put all my ratings like I was a complete bitch. But we always had that. I mean, they were making the most money they ever made. They were phenomenal in their performance. But I would have to leave the store like in tears because I just knew these people hated me. So over time, like I just have been cut, like at work, it is very cut and dry. Even when I text some people I had to call somebody today and say, hey, if you need to have a conversation, don't text me. You're gonna get the coldest text back, especially with it's middle of our like height of our season right now. So I'm like, we got so many fires we got to put out. I don't have time to be, hi, here's some emojis. I love you. Oh my God. Hey, it's more like, yes, no. And why are you texting me this right now? I can deal with you later. But yeah, no, I was just noticing that because there's been a couple of conversations I've had with men lately, and I'm like, I don't want your job. I don't want the business you do. Like you keep that. If I wanted it, I would have it. But no, like I'm just trying to, be collaborative. So, but that makes me feel better, Amy. Thank you. It's not just me.
and
It's just the dynamic. Okay.
it's just the dynamic that we walk as powerful women. We run into that often, and it's not just it's all of the different things that we run into. So it's frustrating. So I don't know.
It
I'm
is.
exhausted. Any advice from anybody would be much appreciated.
Mr. King, since you have so many women on your team at work.
No, I mean, I think the way that you guys need to go from being in your masculine to in your feminine to being assertive to being feminine and endearing, I think that's a much longer distance to travel than the distance that men have to travel in order to be assertive and the opposite, which is calm, cool, collected, right? Or emotionally available. So that gives me some really good context. I really have nothing to add. That just thank you for that. That's good info for me. Because I'm not a woman, but for those of you that are, right, like, yeah, that's challenging, right? My heart goes out to you. I can't imagine having to deal with that while having to set boundaries and protocols and non-negotiables and the amount that every woman appears to get hit on every single day. It's probably overwhelming. I don't know.
Know that now that you say all that, I'm like, and then they wonder why we're crazy.
Yeah.
And men wonder
Oh,
why
I'm
we're
not
just
crazy.
that
I'm
chicken.
calculated. It's not crazy.
Oh.
It's calculated.
I turned to somebody yesterday. I was like, remember, I don't play checkers. I play chess. He's like, what does that mean? I'm thinking, I'm going to be your new boss in a month. That's what it fucking means.
Yeah.
My boss, so my partner went to make a move to buy this. He told me he was buying some security company locally. He wasn't buying a security company. He's buying a like private investigation firm that Colby's dad works at. And so I saw it on our list of like all of our assets, and I was like, can I go in on your first meeting and be there when you take over the company? And then he sees his ex-wife walking, and I won't have any part of it, but just, and he was like, yeah, I was like, this is funny how the world works and everything comes full circle.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. So I gotta jump because I'm getting dirt delivered right now to my house, ironically at 9 p.m. But I will talk with you guys very soon. Again, if there was things that you shared in this conversation that you don't want to get posted, send me a message on WhatsApp and I'll take care of it. Otherwise, I'll probably post it in the next couple days. But other than that, have a good night and thank you all for
Thanks
coming.
all. Be safe.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye,
Thank you.
guys. Thank you.